Third time was the charm. Alrighty, I don't understand this at all, man. It just decides to not allow me. Okay. It doesn't allow me to see it through that. I forgot. So hang on. Un momento, por favor. It should give me a little notice. And I am silented. Yay. I already have it set up to do that. I just get really distracted by the movement. Squirrel. So happy Saturday. At least for me, it's a Saturday. Although it's been a wackadoodle week. Lots of stuff going on. From what I've been hearing, I'm just gonna probably jump right in on this. That, yeah, there's been a few things going on this week, right? I am gonna go over to something that I'm still trying to set up, like get all the final details going on my hey, just sat in for a break. Oh, thank you. My hair is like really straight, so that's actually curling iron. But anyway, so yeah, there have been a lot of things going on, and I think that when you look at things like look at the mainstream, you look at the semi-woo, you look at woo, you look at the really woo, and you pull together some of the common threads. So one of the things that I think is really going to be important, again, is going to be going back to discernment and self-care. So I had a really stressful week during the day, but having said that, did a pretty good job every night after work, just taking a chill, a little frustration popping up here and there. Yeah, we just have to remember to uh, we have to remember who we are. And if we do get angry, so this I know I wrote this like months ago, probably 2 or 3 months ago. And I think one of the things, I'll read some of it. I can't really read all of it. It's pretty colorful. But my main theme in this little Word document that I did was about, I was feeling really tired of getting disrespected. And you can point your finger at other people, and it's something that one of my friends mentioned, was that it's really a choice for us to be going through that sort of thing, to allow being disrespected. So I even said in here, I said, I'm so freaking tired of being disrespected, but it's my fault. I accommodate too many people and sacrifice my own needs. And this is about something that was going on at work, and people that kind of lord things over you and kind of try to push you, or string you along or breadcrumb you. I mean, all of this was going on with like in a day or two. They got some colorful stuff. Yeah. But yeah, and then being treated like that, and then being brushed off like I never effing mattered. So at that point, I was ready to just chuck everything. I mean, I really was thinking about how can I make this work, of just selling everything and buying something that I could just, ride off into the sunset in. Yeah, that sell everything, get a big ass RV and go live somewhere. You know, yeah, it was kind of funny, but hey, it was real at that point, right? So one of the things that I got picked up on was that people think they care, but their actions or the void of action speak volumes. There's some weird stuff I put in there that I don't think is accurate. But when you start questioning that stuff, for me anyway, I question everything from the foundation up. And what I eventually ended up doing was apologizing to myself because I allowed other people to walk all over me. Yeah, not my style. I don't want to live in a motorhome for, with a 115-pound dog. I'm not the camping type. I did in my youth, but not really kind of built for it anymore, shall we say. So I got to pull up this other things that came up. Yeah. And this is the other thing too, is that discernment, and even though you might be aware of something and then you do nothing about it and it doesn't even register, it's worse than a deer in headlights because, yep, I heard exactly what you said. And it was actually validating, but presenting a solution. And what I came up with was there is a fear of calmness in the masses, and there's comfort in chaos. So if you're attracting chaos in your life, whether you believe it or not, and whether you realize it or not, you're encouraging it. Same here. So now that you are aware of it, and you really do truly want to break it, you have to kind of figure out what your next move is going to be. You need to break the cycle if you really do want peace and calm. You have to cross a bridge, and if you need to, bring a friend or somebody who's really going to support you. And they do sometimes take little steps. And the other thing that came up shortly after that was that most people gravitate towards things that make them feel better. Hey, right? Who is it? Well, I mean, there probably are quite a few, especially today. So, yeah, people gravitate towards things that make them feel better. And I know that that sounds kind of obvious, but it's something that lifts them up, something that gives you pleasure or relief or anything that reduces a circumstance of pain and grief. Some are drawn towards what gives pain and grief and chaos. So here's the fun bit. There's I don't want to say truth. There's not validation, but it's like there's a need. And each one of those extremes might be lessons or like a means of balancing, getting balance in your life and learning about yourself and other people. So neither one of the extremes should replace or define health and balance, but it is something that, what's the other word that I use instead of truth? Whatever is influencing you to take the highest path. Because I think people have a tendency to see the word truth as something that's black and white. It's either yes or no. It works or it doesn't. So if you find validation and balance that will lead you on your highest path, and you just have to find that balance, whether it causes you some pleasure or some pain, it's the highest path that benefits everybody. There's that ripple effect, right? Ooh, this one's really deep. Wow. I don't know. Should I read it? I'm not sure. All right. So here's this bit. So I've paid with the blood, sweat, tears, and years of my life, and know that what I ask for is in the depths of who I am. It is not just good for this earthly realm, but for the collective beyond words, beyond dimensions, beyond comprehension. Maybe this is like a prayer or something. What I ask for is a breakthrough, not just in a selfish sense, but a breakthrough in the ability to discern, comprehend, and receive, and not necessarily in that order, information that is relevant to something that can be useful. The most frustrating thing of what's coming across now is the generic aspect of messages. So this is like very personal. Messages need to start to be specific, not necessarily to an individual, but possibly to a group of individuals that might be, if it gets large enough, as a collective. Those that need to hear the message of what's being delivered must be willing to hear. Yeah, I don't know when that was. That may have been like on, what was that? Thursday was the first? I can't remember. Yeah, the first was Thursday. And I know that there's a lot of people that have faith, but there might need to be a shift in order to take things to the next level, is dropping the idea of what faith is, and hanging on to faith so tight we don't see anything else. Something like faith can turn into like a chronic hope. Hope is something that should be brief to get us through a dip or a bubble, with expectations maybe for a positive outcome of something we're hoping for. But faith needs to be possibly abandoned and dropped. I mean, this is for something that somebody who's ready really to do that. That took me a long time to do that. It leads to something deeper. Drop faith, abandon it, and jump into a sea of permeated knowing. So that's what it was. It's switching out this faith for an inner cellular DNA, deep, multi-dimensional, multi-generational knowing, and pulling that forward. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. The dog's dreaming. Yeah, at least she moved. She had like some howling fit the other day that I thought was absolutely hilarious. So anyway, previous 7. So yeah, I think that was all I had right there. I don't know if anything is going on with anybody else, but a lot of the things that I'm personally struggling with is that lack of a feeling, having no feeling of movement. And one of the things that's frustrating is that, this is a time that we all need to be spending with family and going places and doing things for fun. When, and you can't abandon your responsibilities, but it's still that level of self-care that we're going to burn ourselves out if we don't. I'm really trying hard on that aspect. Somebody at work had said to me several times, "You're hardcore." And it's like, no, I get into work, I do my job. I don't, yeah, things do feel stagnant. And, that's not good, because stagnant to me is death. I get so freaking bored. I have to be on edge, on a push, and I can't just go for a walk. I have to go out with a purpose. I can't just go for a walk. I can't just put the dog on a leash and go for a walk. That drives me nuts. It has no, for me personally, there's no value or benefit to it. There has to be a goal, something I'm going for. I mean, I'll walk around the backyard, but only if I'm going to pick up dog landmines, or I'm going to arrange something, or I'm going to plant something. I can't go to the gym because that doesn't have any goal or purpose for me. I know you say you want to do X number of exercise, but that has no, in my head, for some reason, that's not a good enough reason. That's not a valid reason. You know, I might go up. I've been saying this for how many years? I'm going to go up to the Dow Gardens and I'm going to check it out. Still haven't done it. And I mean, that would just be something that would be whimsical and something fun to do. Really struggle with that. And maybe that's why doing something different. Okay, I shop in different shops. I take different ways to work or to somebody's home because I travel to people's homes and, all week. So doing something different, switching something up will make a difference, I think. I'm going to try to go to Dow Gardens, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to have a lot of time on my hands because I have an inspector coming to the house and I had to replace my thermostat, different size. So I patched that. I replaced the fan in the bathroom so it's smaller. So there's like this gap, and I have my son set stuff up there. I got to tape it and plaster that. Where's Harbor Beach at? Arizona. That sounds familiar, but I think it's a long way away. I might go to Muskegon. We'll see. There's kind of a gig going on up there. I'm in a spot where there's nothing. I think there's going to be like an art fair next weekend in Saginaw. I mean, that's close, but everything else is like 2 hours away. So I can figure, well, I'm going to bite the bullet. Tip of the thumb. Oh, okay. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah. I think that's like 2 hours at least from where I'm at. Everything. So I got to figure something. Even my son lives 90 minutes away. He comes all the way out here. He hangs out with his family. But anyway, there's a lot of stuff I got to do. I mean, I still have to plant stuff in the backyard. Everything is like tipping over. I mean, it's looking yeah, M25. M25. Yeah, I would be taking, I'm not far from M46, but I would probably go up to 81, I think it is, and take that across. 46. I probably take 46 across because, yeah, and then I could head north from there. 46 is pretty long. Goes from all the way, what is that, through like Caseville and all that. That's over at yep, M46 East, yep. And then taking it all the way, gosh, I don't know what the towns are, but it's a couple of counties across. It's pretty long, M46. Mount Pleasant, that's like an hour away. Yeah, anyway, might head up to Muskegon. There's Tom Wall, I think, is going to be up there for a couple of 3 days doing some fun stuff called the Festive All. He's been posting that on his Facebook thingy. I debated on connecting with Bill Hobart. He does coaching for the soul on Facebook Live, I think on Thursdays, but it's in the afternoon. He's pretty cool. I might post his, I don't know, do I have this thingy in here? I think I do. I really like Bill. I mean, Bill is a very switched on fellow. I will copy the link and post it in the chat-a-rooney here. I really do like Bill. It's Bill Hobart, just like the kitchen stuff. And he is a He's a psychic. I almost typed in medication. Yeah, you can tell what I do. All right, there we go. Yeah. That's his link to Facebook where you can kind of check out what he's doing for the summer. He's very, very good. He's very switched on. I don't think I've ever met anybody like Bill. He's cool. He's very cool. Anyway, one of the things that I also might be doing is I'm gonna close that because that's just kind of not my thing. Also, oh yeah, and I posted the YouTube version of when I met with Stone Hobbit. It was kind of funny. Don't save. I met with Stone Hobbit about a week or so ago, and it was kind of funny because the first time we hung out, I forgot to push the record. Well, I pushed the record button. You just have to tell it where you want to record it to. And I always say to record. Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter if I don't record here and now because I can once this is processed through YouTube, probably tomorrow I can just go ahead and download that onto my PC, which I also need a new one. I hope the camera's okay. I got a different camera. I'm still with the mic. I'm not real happy with that whole gig. I think it sounds really kind of tinny and boopy. Port Harbor Beach plus many pull-offs along it. Yeah, and that's Amish country out there too. There's some decent Amish stores for anybody in Michigan. Anyway, I can't remember my train. Oh, when I was talking to Stone, I forgot to push the record button. And we had been sitting there for almost 3 hours. We had such a riotous time. That was last month early. So she sent me a message. I don't even remember what. I think it was last week, Saturday, and says, "Hey, how about we do this, in about 30 minutes?" I was like, "Oh my God, sure." So I did. I pushed the go button, but I think it's like an hour and a half. And again, we talked for about, I think I started it at 9. I don't remember if it was a Friday or a Saturday. But I pushed the record button. It was only for like an hour and a half or whatever it was. And we started at 9 and I think we quit at midnight and I didn't get to bed till 1. And I got up at my normal time, which is about 4 or 5 in the morning. So I was burning this little candle from both ends that day. But I guess the overall gist is take care of yourself. Don't get wound up with all the shenanigans going on, whether it's got to do with money or spirituality or what you're supposed to do, what you're not supposed to do. Just chill. Don't take too many people too seriously. Don't take yourself too seriously. But yeah, I'm trying to have a little bit more fun, or at least trying to take a lighter view of things. Sometimes you just got to do that. You just got to do that. I mean, last night I'm usually watching something I want to learn, and I'm always something popped up. Don't know why. Right? That I did need to start, having a little bit more funny stuff. And I'm trying to watch more stand-up comedians. And there's the one guy from Finland. I can't remember his name. He kind of makes me giggle. Very simple humor, but very down to earth. And then it popped up was some guy. It was like 15 minutes of this guy walking around Central Park with like a fart machine. And it sounded like it was a very sophisticated one. And he was doing this in different places, like under a viaduct. Good echo. Walking up and down stairs, sitting on a bench, sitting next to people, walking by people. And he'd make all these funny gestures or he'd just kind of go, oh, that's not good, and hold his tummy, and then he'd start running and it would make a sound. And I just about choked. I laughed so hard. 15 minutes. I mean, it was like out of the nose and the face. And I just thought, just this juvenile humor just put me over. And I tell you, that was probably the most healing 15 minutes. I know he would do like a little twirl, lift his leg up, and when he'd kick it, it would make it you know. And I started, I was like, this is going on too long. I'm going to start overthinking it. And of course I did, because I'm thinking, all these people don't realize that this guy is choking. That was so over the top. They go, oh, and of course it would be shock, right? Yeah, it is. It was good. I do keep tissue on anyway, I do keep tissue nearby without giving too many details of the setup. It's pretty primitive in there. Um, but yeah, I'm pulling tissues out and yeah. So yeah, it's very good. It's very healthy to laugh like that. And I think too that was a lesson for me, just to kind of lighten up. I know, and I was just thinking about that. I was like, it's a good thing I went to the bathroom before I laid down, because I have like a really long, it's like a 10 or 12 foot power cord for my phone because I'm lazy. So I pull it around, so it's like goes around the front of the mat. I can either have it on either side of the bed, and so I would just set it. I couldn't put this down. It was so funny, and I think I just liked it. I didn't. A lot of times I'll just go ahead and I'll copy paste like a link or something like that. I laugh so hard. Um, but yeah, just finding something simple humor. Um, that actually kind of reminded me of kind of some of the stuff. I wouldn't have done something quite so blatant, but I had a girlfriend and we used to talk really silly, and we were in a really nice department store. You'll recognize who they are, Arizona. It was a Hudson's. It was a really nice one. We were in the ladies department. It was in the basement, that part of it, and we went to the ladies room, and we were two stalls apart, and there was we were the way we were talking to each other clearly made whoever was passing, we must have been loud, whoever was passing by was alarmed, because she came in and said, is everyone okay in here? And we just laughed. We just laughed our heads off after that lady. Oh yeah, we're fine. Thank you. And it was like, oh my gosh, that was like probably very troubling for that person, but we, we were just being very silly. I'm not going to repeat what we said or how we did it, because it was pretty weird. Um, Another thing too is when I used to go out with my sister and do the bar thing, we were sitting at this table, and there were these two guys trying to pick us up, and we started pretending that we were speaking a foreign language, and we were kind of like making hand gestures, and just like we were talking and like we were gossiping about other people. And these guys were going, I wonder where they're from. Do they speak English? So I mean, we, kind of silly little pranks like that, but that was fun too. Um, but anyway, have fun, preferably not at someone else's expense. But I mean, you get the gist, right? I so appreciate you, Arizona, and I also have to thank the people that have recently subscribed or followed on whatever platform you're on. Um, anyway, I think that's all that I have. Yes, it was a lot of fun back in my youth. So anyway, love it, everyone. So appreciate you. Look after yourselves. Um, Be blessed.